Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra,
I'm Deirdre McCorkindale.
and today we're going to be talking about an open pedagogy project that we partnered on for a Black Canadian history course here at the University of Guelph.
So as an assignment overview, the students of Black 2000, which is the University of Guelph's Black Canadian history course, took on the role as historians and participated in a group project surrounding Black Canadian history. In groups of 5, students explored one element of Black Canadian history, and we chose Emancipation Day, which celebrates the abolition of slavery in the British Empire. Using their research, each group produced a written chapter with the possibility to be included in a special press book on Emancipation Day. In addition, in the final weeks of the course, each group shared their chapters with the class and reflected on their research process, the difficulties they had, the overall value of their contribution to the press book. One of the biggest frustrations that I find for students who are studying Black Canadian history is a lack of resources. This project places the students in the role of a historian of Black history, and it allows them to channel that frustration towards a resource that makes Black Canadian history accessible to both students and non-students alike. So for the assignment goals, it was able to give the students the opportunity to research a topic and share their research and publish their work. By the end of the assignment, students had learned to identify and interpret themes and patterns throughout Black Canadian history, find and analyze primary sources, learn valuable writing skills such as proper citation and copyright law, how to form an argument and support it with historical evidence, question and evaluate historiographical debates among historians and how these interpretations shape our cultural narratives, and engage in the larger questions about the relevancy of such history to the contemporary world and how this shapes our own understanding.
So one thing we want to stress is that to really make an assignment like this successful, it requires a lot of different people collaborating together and bringing different expertise. So we had Deirdre, who you just heard from. She's the instructor for Black 2000, and she was really the one who had the concept for the assignment and has the kind of subject expertise that is needed to make an assignment like this happen. Then we had me, I'm Alexandra, and at the time I was the scholarly communication librarian specifically for OER at the University of Guelph. So I brought in a lot of expertise on open pedagogy assignments, especially in terms of logistics and running them. I have knowledge of copyright and open licensing. And at the time, I was the coordinator for Pressbooks at the University of Guelph, which was the software we were using to publish the student work. And finally, we had Dave Hudson, who's our information literacy librarian, who really brought a lot of research support to the students. So we really had to plan this out, and this was a project that kind of spanned the whole semester. So before the semester even started, the three of us were very much in a planning stage, so sketching out assignment details, figuring out that timeline, and making sure Deirdre was trained on Pressbooks so that she knew some of that more technical knowledge as well and could support the students. In January, which was the beginning of the semester, we had students select their topics and form their groups. This is when Dave came in to do a research workshop, and that's also when we created the shell Pressbook. So this meant we kind of created chapter skeletons that had the topic titles in them, assigned students to their Pressbook chapter, that sort of thing. In February, that's when we ran the Pressbooks workshop, giving students that technical knowledge and really got them set up with their accounts so they could kind of play around with the software a bit. Then in March, this was the final month of the course before exams started. So at the beginning of the month, we got into the copyright and open licensing workshop. And then students were really working on their assignments at this point, doing that research, putting it together. And at the end of the month, once they had submitted their papers, students presented their work and those reflections Deirdre mentioned to their classmates. Then in April, we did take some time and didn't have them published right away. So instead, in April 2023 and kind of into the beginning of summer, we gave students the opportunity to make any final adjustments, correct any citations, any of those sort of things they wanted to do based on Deirdre's feedback, got their consent before even publishing. I was there providing technical support to them, and that's when the book was published. So to go into a bit more depth into the type of instruction we really needed to make an assignment like this happen. So at the beginning of the semester, we had that research basics I mentioned. This is something that's also valuable for the other assignments Deirdre had them doing throughout the course. So this was something that Dave ran that really focused on how to conduct historical research, how to find resources, that distinction between primary sources and other types of sources, where to look for primary sources, that sort of thing. Then in February, as I mentioned, we did a session on using Pressbooks. Deirdre at this time also kind of really introduced the assignment and kind of gave more context for it. And I picked that up in the Using Pressbooks workshop. So one thing we really wanted to stress to the students is the significance of publishing not just any sort of research, but especially Black Canadian history research. What the significance of that is, that frustration that Deirdre mentioned at the beginning. And then of course, we got into the technical side of how to use Pressbooks. For our final workshop, I actually also brought in a copyright expert at the library for this, Heather Martin, and we did kind of pick up again that thread of the significance of publishing by talking about what the rights of the students would be as authors. Deirdre and I do not own the copyright of this book. Each student retains the copyright over their individual chapters with an open license. So in this, we kind of talked about what those rights are, what the implications of using an open license are, the basics of copyright, how to credit sources properly and use copyrighted materials properly, and then finding openly licensed content should they want to use, say, anything in the public domain or things like that.
In terms of student reception, we all found that the students were engaged in all of the library workshops that we had. They were asking a lot of questions. I found that students were very invested in their projects. A lot of them took initiative to contact local museums and archives on their own to get sources and ideas for their research. Many students expressed during their presentation that the project gave them a greater understanding of the role of researchers, and students who were able to publish were very excited to see their chapters because for once in university, they felt like they were able to work very hard on something that wasn't just for a grade. This was a project where their work was visible to the world rather than just one person, which is me. In terms of the future of the assignment, Black 2000 will be continuing this assignment in all of its future classes. The fall, so this semester, right now, 2023, the Black 2000 students are working on an even more ambitious project. We're working on a Black Canadian history textbook because as of right now, one does not exist. But we're using the same parameters as the Emancipation Day book. The plan is that over the years, students in Black 2000 will alternate between the Emancipation Day book and the Black Canadian history textbook and contribute chapters to create evolving resources on Black Canadian history.
So that's all we have for you today. I will be sharing a link to the Pressbook since it is published if anyone is interested in taking a look around and seeing what the students were able to publish. And yeah, we just really want to stress that an assignment like this really does take a collaborative effort between a subject expert, an open pedagogy or an open education librarian, and that research support. So we look forward to speaking with you more if you have any questions.